Welcome to day 6 of our Pentecost prayer journey. Today I am shooting this before Sunday morning church. I am here waiting to worship with all of you, and that is such a thrill every week. But it's always important to take a minute to pray. And so today's prayer challenge, or our challenge for us, is to think about why God meets us in prayer. When the Israelite people were about to pass from the desert into the promised land, they came to a river and they needed a miracle. They needed something to happen on their behalf, a God-sized thing to happen on their behalf. They needed the waters to part once again. They knew God could do it, right? He had parted the Red Sea and brought them out of Egypt. So they knew he could do it, but they still needed him to show up and show off once again. But what's interesting to me about this story is that they prayed, but they could have spent a lot of time just sitting there and praying on the bank of the river and really looked no different than those who had stood on this riverbank 40 years before and decided not to go into the promised land, who had been disobedient to the Lord and then had to be sentenced to wandering the desert. They could have just stayed there and prayed. But instead, this time, they stepped out in faith. It says that when the priest's feet entered in the water, when they waded out into the water in obedience, in an act of faith, that then God stopped up the water. He parted the waters for them to cross into the promised land. I think for you and I, it's no different. That when God has put a God-sized dream on our hearts, he wants us to step out in faith. My grandfather used to say, God can't steer a parked car. He needs us to move. Demonstrated faith that then he builds upon with his miracles upon miracles. So I'm not talking about like a name it and claim it kind of a thing or something like that. I'm talking about honoring God in a way that says, I put my trust in you so completely that I know you will meet me in this moment, and that will be a story that is glorifying to you, God. So what is that prayer that God has been putting on your heart? What is that dream that he has instilled in you that would glorify him? I want you guys to continue praying about that. Pray over that, around it, through it, and then step out in faith. That's my challenge to you today. So ask God in your prayer time, how do you want me to step out in faith? Thank you guys for joining me for this moment to talk about prayer. Stick with us every day. You can find us on our website, nhcog.com, or through our YouTube channel. You can subscribe on our YouTube channel, and you can follow along by toggling the notification button, which will help you find this video every day. And so please join us throughout this whole month of prayer as we're on this Pentecost prayer journey leading up to our Pentecost Sunday celebration.